the US has removed tariffs on more than $2 billion worth of our exports in a major reversal that could reshape our food export market. The President, Donald Trump, announcing at the weekend an executive order cancelling tariffs on a whole bunch of food imports. Beef, kiwi fruit, the big ones to benefit from New Zealand. Todd McClay is the Trade Minister joining us this morning. Todd, good morning. I know you're in India doing other deals, but your reaction to this, did you have any idea this was going to happen?
Brian, good morning. No, we didn't have an indication, but I'm not sure anybody in the world did. We've welcomed it, although a little bit cautiously. It's good to see those tariff rates come down. It will make a big difference, both kiwi fruit and beef and some avocados, other berries and so on. But the changing nature of tariffs from the US is still creating a lot of concern for New Zealand exporters. And so whilst the tariff rates come down, we'll be pushing to make sure I get some certainty that they stay down. The President doesn't reverse it at some point in the near or distant future.
Yeah, is that the problem when you say you're welcoming it with caution? It's because he could wake up tomorrow and change his mind again?
Well, yeah, that's right. There's no indication. I guess the reason this has happened is the US has a deficit of beef. They don't produce enough of their own, and they're having to import it. It's one of the main reasons they've been buying from New Zealand and other countries. And that tariff rate is having an inflationary effect. We know that US beef prices themselves are at some of the highest levels they've ever been. I guess that's being passed on to consumers, at the price of a hamburger at McDonald's or somewhere else. So I think that's the reason that they've come down. It's a very good thing for our beef exporters. We estimate about a $330 million a year saving on tariffs. This reduction in tariff rates covers about 25% of our exports to the US. But again, that changing nature of the tariffs, that uncertainty is making it very difficult for our exporters. Of course, there are many other exporters who are still facing that unfair 15%.
It is unfair. Minister, lots of people are commenting on this interview on YouTube as we're speaking. Kevin says, Ryan, are we calling this the Americans cancelling it now, not a U-turn? Why don't we just call it what it is? He made a business deal that suited his country, and others should probably have a listen to it. The problem with this and with this line is that he made a decision, but now because it's doing exactly what the economists said it would, i.e. push up prices, he's having to reverse it.
Yeah, I mean, the administration has said there are a number of reasons for it, but, it's hard to see that tariffs, in this instance, are not inflationary in the US market. I think we've probably got a long way to go yet before we see exactly what implication it has on the US economy. But in the meantime, our beef producers in New Zealand, those hardworking farmers and kiwi fruit growers will be rejoicing. It is very, very good for them. We'll continue to make the case that our trade remains balanced. I've said it on your show before. US imports into New Zealand faces 0.3% tariff on average. We're sitting at 15%, in some cases a little bit higher. So I'll continue to make the case that we think it should actually be lower, that we should level the playing field. But at the moment, for 25% of our tariffs, we have an advantage or a better access to that market than we did before this announcement was made a couple of days ago.
Minister, you're in India. The trade deal that we're doing with them apparently had a bit of a hiccup when they were over in New Zealand when you were doing your last round. Are you back on track?
No hiccup at all. I did read that in the media. I think it's good that the minister came down. I invited him some time ago, but it was something we had scheduled. PM met him because that's actually a good thing to do. We have, 1.4 billion consumers in India that are very keen to buy things from New Zealand, so we'd welcome that out. I was always coming up here a week later. I've got a forestry trade mission here, but I'll be meeting my counterpart, Minister Goyal, for the second or third time during this trip. We'll be sitting down tomorrow to, continue with the negotiations. We're making progress. Actually, we're making good progress, but there's still some work to do. And we're hoping that perhaps it could be done by the end of the first quarter next year. But until, every I is dotted and T crossed, it's a bit soon to be too forward-leaning on a prediction.
Will it, I mean, let's temper the expectations. It's not going to include dairy, is it?
Well, we've said when we launched both sides, we're not going to talk about the detail to show a bit of respect for our negotiators, but it has to be commercially meaningful, and I haven't taken anything off the table yet.